Houston, if you'd like to try high gain pitch 212, yaw 37, over. Roger, I think I got you on high gain now. Roger. Is there anything left here? Okay, sequence camera coming on.
Welcome to the Internet Space Program.
Hey, GM.
Hey. It's hard to follow up that energy.
I know, right?
Like explosions, and then we're like, yeah, what's up?
Hey, guys. Yeah. Wow.
Finally here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing myself twice. Is that just me, or are you guys hearing that?
I can only hear you once. Are you looking at it somewhere else?
Oh, I know what's going on. I have the stream open on YouTube. Okay, perfect. All right, well, let's go straight into it. Yeah, we've got something, I mean, obviously really exciting. And so I want to walk through the history of this moment, because this has been a long time coming for MoonDAO. We've been working on this now for over 2 years, which is crazy. Like, when we first started this, we thought we would have, our second astronaut would go on with our first astronaut that we sent up, and that was Kobe Cotton in August of 2022. And we actually had planned for the two of them to launch at the same time. But I guess fate had something else in mind for us, and we kind of went on this unexpected journey. So for those that have been with us since the beginning, you'll know kind of like the history of this second astronaut seat. So we actually ran a selection all the way back in May and June of 2022, just a few months after we bought the seats from Blue Origin. And we really didn't know what we were doing. Like we were kind of like, we actually asked the community, what do you want to do with the seats that we bought? The community decided that we would vote on one of them, and then the other one would be a random selection. And so we were kind of tasked with, all right, how do we create this random selection for the community? And what we decided to do is, since we're a DAO, to use a smart contract, a random selection. And then we had over 8,000 entries into that sweepstakes. And the winner happened to be someone from China. And at that point, basically, no Chinese national had ever launched from US soil. This would have been a groundbreaking collaboration between the United States and China, facilitated by MoonDAO. And so we actually then kind of went on this journey into sort of like the political or geopolitical tension between the United States and China. And so, imagine us, we all of a sudden kind of get launched into this position of having to almost negotiate with the immigration, the U.S. immigration, to get this guy from China to come to the United States. And then after a whole year-long process of doing that, literally a whole year of going, creating all of these different packets and letters of support for our second astronaut, it just couldn't happen. So like we weren't able to get them into the United States. And so we were again having to go to the community and ask, hey, so we've tried for a whole year to send this person to space, and it's just not viable. It's just not possible. What should we do? And then as a community, we decided to re-raffle the seat. And so from basically October of 2023 up until January, we put together this new selection process, and and now we're in a position again to announce our second astronaut for the second time. And yeah, I mean, it's been such a journey. It's really hard to like articulate just like how wild of a ride it's been. And I think it was all meant to be in the end. Like, I think that we couldn't have been luckier with who is ultimately going to be taking the seat for MoonDAO. We had over 2,200 entries into the sweepstakes, and yeah, I mean, I think everyone is going to love who the winner is. I think they deserve it. They really deserve it. And so, and just in our conversations with them, over the past couple of weeks, it's just becoming more and more evident just how right this is. So I don't know, I'm really excited to bring them up on stage. But Ryan, Mitchie, you guys have been instrumental in this whole process, and really could not have MoonDAO could not have done this without either of your guys' inputs. So I know this means, it means a lot to me. I'm sure it means a lot to you guys too. I don't know if you guys want to say some words before we launch into the announcement. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's been such a journey. It's crazy that we're finally at this moment when we're about to announcement. I feel like so lucky that this is like MoonDAO history, and I think it's like global history. This I think is something that, like, a story I'll be very proud to tell my hypothetical grandchildren someday. Yeah, I don't know, Ryan, if you have anything to say, but super excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. This has been definitely a long saga to actually make this happen. I mean, I came to MoonDAO because of the Kobe Cotton launch. That's kind of how I heard about MoonDAO. So I missed being able to send someone to space the first time. So this is kind of really cool that, I'm here to help someone to space the second time around. So I'm just super excited for the person that we're gonna send up, and yeah, be cool.
All right, well, I guess, without further ado, should we announce it?
All right, I'll cue it up.
All right.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
To me, life is all about the people. Whether it's the relationships with my patients at work, at home with my family, or with my space crew. It's the community that makes life worth it. That being said, I've dreamt about being an astronaut since I was a kid. As an immigrant from Iran, I remember the bomb sirens going off and having to run to take shelter. the sky was a scary place. This all changed when I came to the US and the sky was peaceful. I was blown away by its beauty and vastness. I knew that I wanted to shoot for the stars. To achieve this goal, I certified in scuba diving, trained in hypoxia preparedness, zero and high G environments, and participated in an analog mission to the moon. I even came close twice, interviewing as an ASCAN finalist with NASA. So why am I telling you all of this? Because for me, going to space is not something that occurred as a whim. It's something I've spent the last 20 years actively pursuing. And I'm so grateful to take my first steps into space as MoonDAO's second astronaut. I'll represent all of you in this new space age, the artists, parents, educators, immigrants, travelers, scientists, and daydreamers. MoonDAO brings people from all over the world with big ideas and dreams together. I'm so excited to represent this awesome group as we shoot for the moon and beyond.
Whoa.
Oh man. Yeah.
I can't believe it. I still cannot believe this. Whew.
Yeah, I mean it's like I said, I mean I said this briefly before, but I think, maybe you think you're lucky to have won this, but I think MoonDAO is more lucky to have you represent us. I don't think we could have had anyone better, honestly. Your background in medicine, I mean, you've been working towards this for the last 20 years. Yeah. What does this moment feel like?
I mean, I think it's a few things, right? It's like I grew up wanting to do this, but then you kind of realize, everyone wants to be an astronaut growing up. And so I pursued the other passion, which is medicine. And I, got through college, got into medical school, and as kind of medical school was ending, I realized when I went back down to Kennedy Space Center with my family that I wanted to be an astronaut. Like, why can't I do both? And I went home that day, and this was before we had cell phones that, could internet surf as easily as they do now. And I looked it up and I was like, holy smokes, I actually qualify for this from what NASA expects. And so that just triggered a secondary kind of parallel path along with medicine. So it doesn't mean I stopped doing anything I was doing in medicine. I was still working hard, doing training, doing research, and just climbing that ladder. But on the other side, I was pursuing everything I could space related. And so after 20 years to be able to go, because even despite all that effort, there's no guarantee, right? It's not like there's a lot of options. And when I first started this, the only option was NASA, because, SpaceX had just started, working on their Dragon and trying to launch that. Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin had not started sending people up yet, but, now they are, thank goodness. And so it was just, what can I do to become a NASA astronaut? And then it all changed in a few years back when Inspiration 4 launched. And I think it really, that year we had, SpaceX launched the first commercial flight, all commercial flight. We had Virgin launched their first flight, and we obviously had Blue Origin launch their first flight with Jeff Bezos, his brother, Wally Funk. I mean, it was an incredible thing. And I think so many of us who are passionate about space were like, holy smokes, this is the new space era. This is going to open up space to everyone. It's not just the people who qualify to be astronauts through NASA, which are pretty rigorous. I mean, everyone who kind of goes through that process, if you're becoming an NASA astronaut, you are an incredibly well-trained human being, a professional in whatever field that may be, and a pretty good specimen of medical health, because a lot of people are incredible in other ways but get disqualified for medical reasons. So I keep doing it. And I mean, I was telling you today, it's everyone at work, all my family, everyone knows this is my dream, this is my passion. So for you guys to allow me to do this and to be able to go up like this is just, it's incredible. And I'm truly appreciative to everyone, both who have worked hard to do this, which is you guys, and everyone in the DAO who voted for us to do this, right? Because this is a community-led thing. It wouldn't have existed without people crowdsourcing and crowdfunding this. and then also people deciding that this is how we should spend some of the money. So blown away. I mean, still blown away.
Yeah, no, I mean, so am I. It's been such a journey. So to like actually like look you in, like when we first jumped on that call, and we were able to say, hey, you're going to space. Like that is what makes all of the rest of this worth it. Like you've seen like you were inside MoonDAO's community all the way back to the first selection, and in fact you took place, you were a part of that selection too, right?
Yeah.
So I guess you've had a first row seat, as have a bunch of people in our community, kind of seeing this process all the way through. So I'm curious, like when you're telling people 20 years ago that you wanted to do this, I mean, nowadays, I believe there have been less than 700 people that have gone to space. So, I mean, did people think you're crazy, or what was the sort of reactions that you got?
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest. At first, it was like anyone else who has a crazy dream, you don't tell many people, right? So I told my then girlfriend, now wife. I told my brother. I don't think I told my parents right off the bat, and I just kind of like slyly applied. I said, well, we'll just see what happens. And then I got an interview, and I was like, holy smokes, like, how is that even possible? So then I had to start telling people. And I'll be honest, at that time, I was doing training at Vanderbilt University, which is where I'm a physician currently. I was doing my cardiovascular training, and they have been so supportive from the get-go. I mean, this was 15 years ago. So talk about harebrained scheme. Here I am training to be a cardiologist, and I'm to go to my bosses at Vanderbilt and say, look, I've been offered an interview with NASA, and they're like, go for it. They moved mountains to get coverage, to make sure shifts were taken care of and patients were being seen, so that I could pursue that. And they've kind of kept doing that throughout the years, including me taking 2 weeks to do an analog astronaut mission at Biosphere 2 as one of the first crews there. So I think that originally people maybe thought it was crazy, but as you saw me year after year, day after day, persist and continue, they say, okay, well, this guy, he's not going to quit. He might be 60 or 70 before he makes it, but he's going to get there eventually.
Totally. And well, it's awesome that you also have this sort of like medical background or scientific background. I'm curious, when we first started talking, you mentioned like what sort of like scientific slant you can bring to this experience. I'm curious if you've had more time to kind of reflect, or if you're bouncing ideas off of people at Vanderbilt. How do you think you can use this experience beyond I guess like your own I'm really excited to have someone that has a scientific background, because this has been an aspiration for MoonDAO for a long time too, is to not just give people access to opportunities that otherwise wouldn't be possible, but to also kind of crowdsource intelligence and be part of the decentralized science movement. So I'm really excited that you can represent us there as well.
Yeah, so I mean, interestingly enough, a few months ago, I started working with the Aerospace Medical Association. They're doing a basically like a scope, which is a review of literature to kind of guide people going on commercial space flights, because NASA has very long history of research, but they're all professional astronauts, and as we stated before, they're pretty solid specimens of health, right? When they're selected, a lot of people get excluded for medical reasons. So the question is, as we open space to all, so that everyone can go up, what really kind of realistic medical limitations do you need to put on people? We'd like to put very little limitations, but you want people to be able to go up. So we're working on a scope right now to kind of review literature and determine what's safe and what's not safe, so that we can provide some guidance. So I have a meeting tomorrow morning with them. None of them obviously know that I'm going to space yet. So I am going to rack their brains to see what they think.
You're about to blow their minds.
I think so, yeah, at 8 a.m. tomorrow. But personally, for me, I'd already proposed to Blue Origin a few years back, possibly wearing a monitoring device, both for respiratory rate, cardiovascular rate, and also a glucometer. And so they're aware of that, and we're kind of going to go and see where that comes from. Obviously, a 4-minute flight is not a long flight, but it is what more and more people are going to do. So I think that if we can get these kinds of data where we're collecting biometric data on people as they go up, we're going to get more and more information and say, okay, it's safe for everyone to go, right? We're about to send Ed Dwight up, which is incredible, a 90-year-old individual. And so these things are important. And there's a lot of people going up that are older, and we don't actually, as a public, know what their medical issues are. You know, have they had histories of arrhythmias? Have they had cancer? Have they had glaucoma? And does any of this matter? So I am hopeful that I can continue to work with Blue Origin, you know, before and after this mission to help kind of guide some of that science and maybe participate in some of it when I go up.
Totally. Another thing that I think is pretty curious is that you're a part of, I want to say, almost every single space community out there. Like I don't know of any community that you haven't like participated in, and so I'm really excited to have you as a representative of MoonDAO. But beyond that, I feel like you're a representative of like all of these space communities, and so I'm excited to, I don't know, like have you be a rallying point for all of these different groups out there that have a similar vision and want to see more community involvement in space. Yeah, I'm curious what your thoughts are and sort of like that movement as a whole, and yeah, what is sort of the words that you have for people in those sort of communities?
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of put it two ways. Good people attract good people, and passionate people attract passionate people. I don't think you find many people who are actively pursuing kind of the space field who are not all in. You don't have a lot of just like people who come in intermittently. We're fortunate because due to the internet and also just people mobilizing more, I think, after COVID, the groups are growing. There's more groups out there. There's groups that are inclusive of all types of people. And that are doing different things. So, you know, there's analog astronaut groups. There's groups like the Inspired 24 who are trying to advocate for everyone to kind of get the overview effect. Space for Humanity. There are, I mean, it's just on and on and on. You could talk about the different groups, Space Kind. And, you know, a lot of them are here rallying for me. I see them writing in the comments. And I think that's a big thing is we show up, right? So we celebrate each other's wins, because we know that the wins don't come often, and we try to uplift each other. My hope is that I can demonstrate that perseverance pays off. You know, there are a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of people who think that this is a crazy idea and maybe you shouldn't pursue it. But if you stick with it, you have your vision, and you take the steps to get to that vision, then anything is possible. So, you know, this was a shot on goal. It's like, I told everyone I knew about MoonDAO, and I said, look, you know, you may or may not get it, but it's if you don't participate, you're definitely not going to get it. It's just like if you don't apply for NASA to become an astronaut, you should let other people disqualify you. You should never disqualify yourself. You should know the worth that you have, and you should participate fully in your vision and in kind of like the grand scheme that you see, and have faith that if you keep trying, you will get there. So it's a great community. So before this, I called myself a hardcore hobbyist because I didn't know if I was actually going to make it to space despite all my efforts. Now I am saying that we are here, and I will be an astronaut for MoonDAO and for Blue Origin.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I just want to echo that one more time. Don't disqualify yourself. I think, yeah, that's a powerful message. Yeah. Yeah, and man, I mean, there's so much to cover here too. Like you emigrated to the United States when you're 4 years old, right?
Correct.
And from there, I mean, I think, to me at least, maybe you can't say this, but I can say this. I think that you have experienced to some extent the American dream. Like you came here as an immigrant. I'm an immigrant as well, and became a doctor, and now you're going to space.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
incredible.
To me, there is no better place to live, in my opinion, because, you know, this country has its good and its bad, just like everywhere, right? We don't live in some imaginary world, but the opportunities that this place affords everyone, um, and to some maybe more than others, but the opportunities are there, and you might have to work hard, but you at least have those options. A lot of countries don't have those options, as you know. There are a lot of countries who have not sent people to space, for instance. Jan, our first selected person for the seat, could not come over from China and fly in the seat because he was residing in China and a Chinese citizen. And so, to me, like, the United States is an incredible place to be, and really has afforded me a beautiful life with the people I love. And I'm forever grateful that my parents immigrated here from Iran back in 1984.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as much as I think that we're extremely fortunate, and I think that, fate couldn't have written a better story than where we are today, and having you in this call, and you as our second astronaut. I think it's really important to honor Yan and his story, because, yeah, I mean, I think since the beginning, what we wanted to achieve with MoonDAO is to extend the freedoms and liberties and opportunities that exist, at least in the United States, to countries that don't have a space program, to kind of dreamers from all parts of the world that want to look up at the stars, and they see an inspiring vision for humanity, but they might not have access. So yeah, I think it's important to honor Yan, but at the same time, like, I don't think that should detract from you winning the seat, because I think like, you to me represent so many parts of what we're trying to achieve. You yeah and it's like, it's very special for me, like, and I don't know, like, when so it's been a very difficult process to give away the seat, like, we I could not have expected it to be so difficult. But when hopping on that call with you, it's like all of a sudden this, like, I don't know, it just felt like this moment of joy, of, like, being lifted, and being able to tell you, and then your reaction to it was just incredible. So, man, we're so lucky to have you.
Thank you. No, I feel very fortunate to be here. And I know you guys worked hard. I mean, one, to try to get Yan, and I think you guys, I don't know if people know how much you guys put into that. And so that was a long process. And then to decide we need to redo this, go back to the DAO, get permission from everyone kind of in the vote system, and then run it again. It's all, it's a lot of work. And I think people don't appreciate how much work running a DAO is, compared to just if this was a privately funded company that you could do everything behind closed doors.
Yep. Yeah. But I think at the same time, it's our superpower also, because this sort of feedback mechanism, or this way of, like, pulling the community and asking them what they want to do, and having them be in charge, is I mean, I think it's also what's given us this, like, incredible narrative, or this incredible journey that we've been on. It like I said, this couldn't have been written any better. It's just we've been navigating it all together as a group, and yeah, just very, very, very lucky. Like, I want to repeat it again. I think MoonDAO is the luckiest community that's been out there, despite all of the sort of, like, the hurdles and the steps that we've had to overcome to get here. I think that like, having you in the seat has made it all worth it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, do you have any other words for yeah, I mean, like, what was it like telling your family about this? Yeah.
I mean, there was someone asked if I cried. There was no tears, but there was probably a lot of ugly face smiling and jumping up and down. I called my wife immediately after we got off the phone on FaceTime, and I was like, I couldn't even talk. And she was like, and I was like, yes, like I'm going to space. And then from there, I was in clinic actually, and I FaceTimed my brother, and he's like, I can't talk. So I was like, all right. So I went down, saw a couple of patients, and luckily we work in the same building. So then in between patients, I ran. I was like, are you around? He's like, yeah. And I told him, and we were just like ecstatic. I mean, because they've both been here with me for the entire ride. And then I told my parents when I saw them in person, and they were ecstatic. They were, I think everyone is both in disbelief that it's actually happening, but also in belief that like, oh yeah, this was bound to happen at some point. So everyone's been very supportive, and it's been awesome. I haven't been able to tell everyone yet because I wanted to wait till this announcement, but I'm going to tell everyone now.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, I can only imagine. And that's super cool that you and your brother work like in the same building too.
Yeah.
Well, so it sounds to me like a lot of dreams came true that week because,
Whew.
yeah, Ryan actually sent me a photo. He's like, "Oh, is Iman with Arnold Schwarzenegger right now?" We're like, "What?"
It
So
was an epic week. Yeah,
yeah.
no, I mean, it started with the lunar eclipse, which, or the solar eclipse, which we drove out and met up with some friends, and we got a viewing of the full eclipse, which I'd never seen. Got to spend that time with my kids and wife and some friends, which was special. Tuesday, I got this call, which was incredible. And the Friday before, they'd gone out an email saying, I'm part of a group called the Pump Club. It's an app that's run by Arnold Schwarzenegger and his people. And they were like, hey, if you come out to Santa Monica, 30 people, we're going to go hiking. And luckily my wife, being who she is, was like, you should go. Just like she's like, you should go to space. And so she kind of pushed me to sign up, even though it was going to be hard with work. And I went out that evening after work, and the next morning went on the hike, and Arnold Schwarzenegger surprised us and showed up, which was not guaranteed. And I have a few life dreams. One's going to space. One was to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger, because much like myself, I see him as the story of the American dream. He was an immigrant. He worked hard. He was Mr. Universe. He became a big actor, obviously, and then became governor. So lots of different phases in his life, and was able to accomplish this all with perseverance. I mean, if you ask him, he'll say he was not a self-made man. And I think none of us are truly self-made. It's all the people that help us rise, and it's all those small moments and small gestures, and sometimes big movements like what MoonDAO is doing for me, that brings us all up, lifts us all up. And so as long as you have a vision, and you kind of surround yourself with people and tell people that vision, I think anything's achievable. So to meet him in a setting of like 40 people was like also a life goal. So now I've got, 2 big goals met. So now I got to figure out what's next. And hopefully it's figuring out a way to help people outside of just the clinical setting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm happy that MoonDAO can be, part of your story. That's it sounds like, you know, it sounds like you've worked really hard to get to where you are, but you're still hungry, which is amazing. And yeah, I'm excited to find out what's next for you. I think that this is just the beginning of your space journey, it seems. So I think that we're lucky to have played a little part in that.
No, I'm grateful, and you guys will always be a part of it. So if one day I'm able to put boots on the moon, MoonDAO's coming.
I hope so. I mean, I hope to be there with you too. Yeah, that's the ultimate goal of MoonDAO is to help accelerate the sort of humanity's long-term presence on the moon, and then Mars and beyond. So yeah, it's to me it feels like like I'm shy even telling people in my like day-to-day life, like, oh, this is what I'm working towards, like,
Yeah.
because similar to you, it's like, it's this incredibly audacious goal, and but I think it's incredibly special that like I truly believe that if you get 30, 40 people that are all in, absolutely all in on something, you can get that community of people that just see the same vision and they want to work towards it. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about what that's done in your life, and I think that we're just kind of like, I mean, we're 2.5 years into MoonDAO's journey, and now this is the second person that we're sending to space, and so yeah, I hope we're together on the moon someday, looking back, like, can you playing some of these old videos, like, oh man, that was pretty funny, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think soon, hopping on a rocket ship will look just as common as going on an airplane. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting, 10, 20 years from now, where humanity, what humanity looks like. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we're in the new space age, and I think that people don't realize it. Like the number of money going in the industry of commercial space, not just sending humans, but money to build factories, build hotels, working on having gravity in space. I mean, there's just like company upon company, and it's very hard. This is not an easy, endeavor, because it's still really expensive to send things to space. Hopefully, that's going to improve with the Starship launching successfully. But it is a growing field, and while the George Jetsons were supposed to be here by now, we didn't quite meet that future. But I think that this is the new space era, and really, it's going to be a more inclusive place for everyone, and there's going to be room for everyone to kind of, whether it's you're going up because you're an artist, or you're going up because you're a engineer or some sort of construction person who's going to build something, architect, medical person, the veterinarians. We're going to need veterinarians if we're doing any sort of animal research. I mean, it's just, we don't realize that 50 years from now we might be in a very different place that we are today, and I hope to see it. I might have
totally.
to live longer than expected, but
We're making
life
progress
will.
there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to underestimate the compounding effects of a bunch of people all with the same vision, working hard every day. So if you have one person that's out there doing some crazy thing trying to make it happen, and they are making mistakes every now and then and learning and kind of compounding and growing, that's powerful. But if you have 30, 40 people that are all on a similar journey, trying to someday, make it in space, I think that group of people are going to accelerate a lot faster. So, I think that this sort of this growing sort of movement of individuals that see just our immense progress in space and want to kind of hitch on for the ride and learn alongside everyone else, I think it'll be really powerful. So I'm looking forward to everything that we'll learn from your journey. Like we sent Kobe from Dude Perfect up, but that feels very different than your journey here, because you've really come up through this space community movement. And so yeah, I feel like you were saying before, we're going to continue growing together beyond after this experience and be able to kind of all live vicariously through you in a way, so yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes after this. Yeah.
Well, I hope to bring everyone along for the ride, so we're gonna have to keep doing this. Maybe we do another one after the flight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we should try just document your journey, figure out
Yeah.
how we can every the emotional roller coaster. I mean, I'm sure, well, we've come across this a lot, and I think it for you is very different because you'd been dreaming about this day for a long, long time. But I feel like the reality of actually, jumping up on a rocket ship and going up, that can be quite an emotional journey, going from a theoretical, "Oh, I'll be going to space," to, like, the day of. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And you guys presumably will be there, and I'm excited to share that with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, last time, we had, I think, about, 10 MoonDAO members that joined us, and this time it'll be the same, so we'll be out there, cheering for you, and then, yeah, uh, you'll be able
Yeah,
to bring some of your family and friends along too, so, yeah, I think it'll be, we'll all be there with you.
awesome.
Yeah, it'll be special. But yeah, I feel like we could talk about this forever, and I'm sure that we will. This is just the beginning of the process. We'll likely be in a lot of calls as we're kind of ramping up towards organizing what we're going to be bringing up as a community. So you've got some like a shoebox, and then we'll be able to do some things with the community to kind of bring us along with you. And yeah, I'm sure, we'll be doing some things around the DSci community, trying to figure out how we can make the most use of the data we'll be getting.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think maybe we'll pause for now, and yeah, we'll keep checking in. We'll keep doing these calls. I mean, we'll be doing Twitter Spaces, I'm sure, before your launch, and then after too. So and I mean, we've got a Discord where we're all connected, and so
Yeah.
I'm sure, we'll probably be asking you, what's going on in Iman world, like what are you feeling? We'll be able to, really be there with you every step of the way. So it's exciting.
No, now that I can share it, I'm very excited because obviously all week I've been kind of wanting to share it.
Yeah, yeah, just
I mean,
biting your
today I had
tongue.
an hour-long conversation about space, and I'm just like, yeah, one day maybe I'll get up there.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I mean, yeah, and we got you some MoonDAO swag too. I
You
think
did,
that's
yeah. I got it on, but my
amazing.
setup is not so deep, so sorry I can't. Yeah, there we go.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I wanna say also, shout out to Andrew Paris. I know that he's been very instrumental in not only, I mean, he's been getting a lot of people within MoonDAO, and he's part of the Inspired 24, and all the work that he's been doing has been incredible too. So
And he
I
was
wanna
there with
acknowledge
me
him too. Yeah.
during the first drawing, so we sat there together texting till 2 a.m. So yeah, he's been with MoonDAO since the beginning also.
Yeah, and that was right after, your daughter was born, right?
It was our baby moon. So the wife had gone to bed, and I was like, "Sorry, honey, I'm gonna go to the lobby for a few just an hour." It turned out to be 4 to 6 hours later.
Yep. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was yeah, yeah, early days of MoonDAO, working out some technical
Some
kinks, and
kinks, yeah.
yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it's great to be able to kind of have you alongside our growth too. I mean, yeah, so
No, I mean, props to you guys. I know this is gonna be it's been a lot of work, and hopefully the work will continue and just like grow in what MoonDAO is doing. So I think we need involvement. So the more people that want to participate, the happier we'd be. There's a meeting. I think it's weekly. I missed it today, but get on there and see what's happening and see how you can contribute to MoonDAO because these guys are working hard, but they can't do it without some support. So
totally. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's a good shout out. So yeah, every Thursday at noon Pacific, we do town halls, and so really the point of those town halls are to review ideas from the community. So if anyone and ideas come from everywhere in our community, anyone who has an idea, we try to empower them. We try to rally around them, create a project around their ideas, finance their ideas. We've funded over 50 projects now. We've had over 93 contributors, and we've funded projects for over $1 million in our lifetime so far. And we're continuing to fund projects. So I'm sure we'll be doing projects around your launch. So anything that you're dreaming about, especially in the crossover between medicine and space, which is a very, very interesting area, we want to support you. But I'm also speaking to everyone else in our community. If they have an idea that's been burning a hole in them, and they want to make it a reality, propose it to the community, and we can help make it happen. So yeah, and this is open to everyone. Like you don't have to have the token, and we mean that. So you and also, like, you can get the token through contributing to the community. I think a lot of people are kind of like, oh, I need to pay money to be part of the community. No, that's not how we operate. Anyone can propose an idea and become a part of the community through their contributions. So and yeah, I hope that reaches at least one person in the audience. If and I'll repeat it again. If you have a good idea, jump into our Discord, join ideation, tell us about it, and join our town halls. It's really that simple. I think people think it's a lot more complex. That's it. That's all you have to do. Yeah, or at least we try to make it easy. And like Dr. Iman was saying, don't disqualify yourself. Yeah.
Persevere.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on this call. Thanks everyone in the audience that joined us. We have 169 people across different platforms. So
Wow.
that's awesome. And yeah, we'll keep us updated. Tell us how things are going. We'll keep informing the community. If people listening aren't in the Discord, join us. You can go to moondao.com and jump in the Discord. It's the first button. You click join us, and that takes you right to the Discord. So yeah.
No, I look forward to seeing everyone and bringing you all along, and we're gonna make it to space. We're gonna go 3Gs. I mean, this is gonna be pretty rad. So I'm pumped.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo. Thank you guys that are now backstage.
Yeah. Ryan and Mitchie hanging out. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Welcome to MoonDAO, a revolutionary governance model and mission-oriented community that's reshaping collaboration in the space industry. Our mission is to create a self-sustaining, self-governing settlement on the moon to act as a launch point into the cosmos. MoonDAO is governed like a nation, with its own economy, constitution, voting system, treasury, elections, and senate, but internet native, and so without the limitations of geography. In 2022, we sent our first member to space, showcasing our model's capacity for real-world impact. Now, we're implementing key solutions for global collaboration in the space industry. We offer a borderless, permissionless platform that enables everyday people to participate in the future of space development and exploration. Be part of our lunar legacy and join the MoonDAO movement today.